This is marriage wisdom for those who want a long marriage. One of the least discussed realities of marriage is emotional fatigue. Most people expect that the greatest threats to marriage will be obvious things: conflict, betrayal, major disagreements. But in many long marriages, the greatest strain does not begin with something dramatic. It begins with something quiet: emotional fatigue. Emotional fatigue happens when someone has been carrying unresolved feelings for a long time. At first, those feelings usually begin as small disappointments, moments where someone hoped to feel understood but didn't, moments where someone hoped something would change but it didn't, moments where someone hoped their effort would be noticed but it passed quietly. In healthy relationships, those moments are usually addressed. People talk about them. They clarify misunderstandings. They repair emotional tension before it grows. But in some marriages, those small moments are never addressed. People stay quiet, not because they don't care, but because they don't want to create conflict. They tell themselves it's not worth bringing up. They tell themselves it's not important enough to mention. But the human heart remembers emotional experiences, even when we choose silence. Over time, those unspoken feelings begin to accumulate, not loudly, quietly. Someone begins to feel slightly less seen, slightly less understood, slightly less appreciated. At first, those feelings are subtle, so subtle that the person experiencing them may not even recognize what is happening internally. They simply begin to feel more tired emotionally, and emotional fatigue begins to take root. Emotional fatigue changes how people communicate. Someone who once spoke openly may begin speaking less. Someone who once addressed concerns may begin letting things pass. Someone who once corrected misunderstandings may decide it's easier to remain quiet. From the outside, the marriage still appears stable. Responsibilities are still handled. Daily routines continue. But internally, something emotional has shifted. Someone has begun to carry unresolved feelings quietly. When that happens long enough, emotional distance begins to grow. Emotional distance rarely appears overnight. It develops gradually. Conversations become shorter. Tone becomes more neutral. Warmth becomes less frequent. People still coexist, but emotional connection begins to weaken. This is the stage where resentment often begins to grow. Resentment is rarely explosive in the beginning. It is quiet. It develops slowly when someone begins to feel that their emotional experience inside the relationship no longer matters. And when someone carries that feeling long enough, fatigue deepens. They stop explaining. They stop trying to repair small misunderstandings. They stop bringing up concerns that once mattered to them. Not because they no longer care, but because they feel emotionally exhausted. Emotional exhaustion is one of the most dangerous stages in a marriage, not because love disappears, but because effort begins to disappear. When people feel emotionally tired for long enough, they stop investing energy into improving the situation. They simply adapt to the distance. This is why long marriages require intentional emotional care, not only during happy seasons, but especially during quiet seasons when something feels unresolved. Healthy marriages create space for honest conversation, not harsh conversations, not conversations designed to win arguments, but conversations designed to understand each other. Understanding protects emotional connection. Respect protects emotional safety. And emotional safety allows people to express concerns before they grow into resentment. Because resentment rarely begins with one large moment. It grows through many small moments that were never addressed. Long marriages survive because someone recognizes those moments early. They speak about them with patience. They address them with care. And they protect the emotional atmosphere of the relationship. Because the emotional atmosphere of a home shapes how people feel every day inside the marriage. When that atmosphere is built on patience, respect, and understanding, emotional fatigue has very little space to grow. And that is one of the quiet foundations of a long marriage.